let me start the East so you guys don't steal my guy. Um, so my guy from the East is going to be Tyler. Can you be my hero, baby? I know you're saying preseason. Dude scored 26, 24, 26, shooting a very high percentage from three. His floater game is very good. That was one thing that I noticed has definitely improved. If he could be a little bit more of a playmaker off their bench, I just feel like he is one of the keys for Miami for them to have like a really, really, really good season. Like if he could play at what he could, like if he could play bubble level, even a little bit less than bubble level,
Preach, brother.
they
Preach.
are like they're going to be like they have a very high chance of making the finals.
He's
Like
motivated too.
yes, like this Miami team is going to be fun.
I
Like
know
they're
everyone made memes about him putting on 10 pounds of muscle, but he actually looks like a grown man now. Like he in these preseason games, like he looks like bigger, more fluid, more athletic. That's the thing that I'm just like, oh dang, he looks like somebody that could be an all-star one day. Like he just has that flow, that rhythm, that confidence, and he
How do you feel about RJ Barrett now with in that system with Kemba being there? Do you think his role gets
thrive.
smaller?
Thrive. He
Thrives?
will thrive. Yes, because he won't have the pressure to be the primary guy anymore. He won't have to be in pick and rolls. Like that's not what he does. Like in when I was able to watch some of their games for Canada, he was playing off of the ball more and coming off of like a wide pin down, it curling into the lane. Like if he's able to get more of those opportunities and more slashing opportunities, and then just knock down open threes instead of being a guy that has to handle and create, he will
He's
thrive.
Yeah, he's a great 3-point shooter. Shot 40% last year.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was one guy that I was looking at too, but I wanted to hear your opinion. Yeah, and Josh's yours too on whether or not his role gets smaller or bigger now with a guy like Kimba.
Yeah, I feel like him off the ball is just going to be better than him. Like he could also create for himself, but like I feel like him off the ball is just so much better without that pressure.
That's what I think. Him playing off of people is where he could genuinely just grow and blossom. He's still so
I mean, like
young.
that's even what he in college. That's when he was like you had Jones as your uh,
Facilitator.
facilitator and Zion with all the attention. Like
Yeah.
he was even like off the ball in college, and that's where he really thrived.
Yeah, I actually Willie Green's the guy I'm most excited for too. And also, I mean, he won 2 titles as an assistant at the Warriors, and then he went to the Suns. And his first year, they went to a title game. They didn't win the series, but he's been a part of winning teams and winning programs. And everything that I've heard from Chris Paul, Monty Williams, DeAndre Ayton, they all talk about his demeanor and how much he loves the game and how much of a leader, just natural leader he is. So like you guys are saying, like he's gonna bring that culture. I don't think the Pelicans are gonna be that great. Like we'll talk about the rankings later on in our episode, but I don't think they're gonna make the jump this year. But I definitely think bringing a guy in like Willie Green will entice Zion to stay, and then they can build something special going on later. But another thing that I think that he's going to bring is defense. The Pelicans were ranked 23rd in defensive efficiency last year, which is pretty bad. And and Willie Green was kind of quoted for being like the mastermind for the defense for the Suns, and the Suns were a really good defensive team last year. So I think that defensively the Pelicans will become better, and I think that they're going to have better core and mentality of players coming from Willie Green. And I'm really excited to watch that. Another guy that I'm curious to see how he does is Jason Kidd with the Mavericks. And we'll talk about the Mavericks later too. But I think that he's had an interesting coaching path. He's played a lot of the teams he's been on have these huge like physical players. And most recently, like with the Lakers, like guys like LeBron and AD. having these generational talents that he's been around, being able to coach that to Luka, I think is going to be really interesting.
The main thing that I am always excited to see is zone usage. So, um, I love how NBA teams are implementing more zones, more junk defenses. I think like a team like the Warriors that'll probably play a lot of small ball. Them utilizing a zone might be big time for them to stay on the glass a good amount, have guys closer to the paint. Along with that, like a Philly squad that needs to keep Joel kind of like relaxed on defense instead of always having him in a deep drop. He could chill in the paint, stay close to whoever's down there. Same deal with Jokic. Miami, I hope that they pull out the zone that they pulled down in the bubble. They have the guys that are probably going to be better in the zone than they were when they were in the bubble. Between having a PJ Tucker and a Jimmy Butler at the top of the zone, Kyle Lowry dunking on the wings, like how they invert it and put the guards on the wings and the forwards at the top. And the guys are just getting better. Toronto always is fun to watch on defense. They got length out of every position this year, and they're athletes across the board. Fred Van Vliet is probably their Fred Van Vliet and Dragic are their two like small guys, and Malachi Flynn. Those are like their small guys, but put in a zone, they could utilize them in a variety of ways. Whether that's the guy that matches up if they go boxing one, or if that's the guy that they put at the middle of their 1-2-2 or their 3-2, or if they put him low because he's more mobile to do things. They just show a ton of variety defensively, which is always something that I look for, and it's exciting to watch because that zones and just junk defenses in general could be, I think that they could be a solution to solve and like take teams out of shooting threes. Like, I know that zones typically give up more threes, but I mean from a standpoint, in the NBA, it has to be a matchup. You could run it more zone oriented, but it has to be a matchup due to the rules and the 3 second violation. So I think a zone could basically like, as the defense, you don't have to recover as much. Like you'll be in your area, you'll be in your gaps, you'll be able to stop drives easier, especially if you have the length and size. Stop drives and then be able to be right there to recover, close out, stop a shooter, and then contain. It's like I'm a big defense guy, so it's always fun to see the little unique things, even just ball screen coverages. How I was talking about Portland with Chauncey, like them putting that much pressure on the ball and really packing in on the back end is, I think, a creative way to go about it. It's I always look for it's just what I enjoy watching, and I'm excited to see new things that coaches pull out this year.